Hello, my name is Sabra Zulo, and I'm going to be the caseworker today. What is your name?
My name is Daisy.
Okay,
It's nice to meet you.
So I work here with Child Protective Services. I am a licensed social worker, and my job is to meet with you and talk with the parents of families, whether that is together or individually, and just get a feel for what is going on in their lives and find out how I can help you and how I can be of service for you. I want to thank you for coming in today. Before we begin, I do want to share that while I am trying to get to know you, everything that you say is going to remain confidential. However, in an instance of child abuse or adult abuse or maybe self-harm or harm inflicted upon others, that is something I am obligated as a professional to report. So I want to put that out there and just let you know. Is that understandable?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, great. Now, moving on forward, tell me a little bit about yourself, Daisy.
So I am a single mother of 3 kids. I've got Danny, he's 8. I've got Sarah, who's 7, and my little boy Rudy, who's 6.
Okay.
I work as a waitress and a bartender. I pick up as many shifts as I can because I need the money to feed my kids and house them and clothe them and anything else that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard from my children's father in over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of doing this by myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to leave Danny in charge of the other 2 while I go to work.
Okay.
Because if I don't work all these hours, I'm not going to have enough money to pay these bills.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely hear you. I'm sure that's difficult having to take care of all these tasks alone. Do you have a support system outside of your children?
I have a boyfriend. I mean,
Okay.
he doesn't really come around much and he doesn't offer any money, but he's there
Okay.
sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. And how is that for you?
I wish he were around a little more.
You do?
I do, but I'm busy. He's busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. And I mean, when he is around, he's very strict. He's very much. But I love him and I do wish he were around just a little more.
Okay. Well, that's definitely understandable. Is there anything else that I would need to know? Do you have any family in the area, or anyone else that you can rely on to whenever you are away at work? What do your kids do?
They hang out at home. I just tell them be good.
Okay.
I expect them to behave. They're at an age, they know what they're doing. So at this point, I trust them because I cannot afford a daycare, a babysitter. So I have to trust that they are okay.
Okay.
Because I can't stay home. I don't make enough money.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the education to get another job. So I need to be working as much as physically possible so that those kids are fed and housed and safe and happy.
Yeah. So it definitely sounds like you hold a lot of responsibility and you prioritize that responsibility. And it sounds like that you are doing what you can for your children and that you care about them, and you said that you love them. So are they in school?
Yes, they go to school during the day,
Okay.
which does help out a lot.
Yeah.
The problem is when they come home, I have no one to watch them, but I can't stop working because even with the shifts I have now, I am barely making ends meet. If I start losing shifts, I'm not going to have enough money. I won't be able to house the kids. I won't be able to feed the kids. And it just will be a mess.
Yeah.
And now her school's telling me she needs glasses, which are probably like $300. Like, I don't have money for glasses. I don't have money to take my kids to the doctor. I'm kind of, right now, I'm just kind of floating along,
Okay.
doing everything I can to just stay afloat.
Yeah. So, tell me about when you feel like you have a lot of responsibility. How do you handle that?
I keep working. I mean, I get tired. I come home exhausted. So I expect the kids to behave because I can't deal with much more. Like when they misbehave or when they get hurt or sick, like there's just nothing left.
Yeah. So, it sounds like, are you able to pay for your housing and your food? Are you adequately equipped for that at the
I'm
moment?
struggling.
You're struggling? Okay, well, that's definitely something that I am here to help you with. I can gather some resources for you in that area. Something else that I wanted to touch base on is you talk about how you don't have any energy left. Is that like a concern for you, or is there kind of tell me more about when you say like you have nothing left?
There's so much that goes on. I have to feed them, I have to house them, I have to work forever. That I come home after probably a 12-hour day at least, and I'm just so tired. But I still have to parent my kids.
Yeah.
So I expect them to behave. I expect them to be good.
Okay. So maybe give me a little bit of insight of why you think that you might be meeting with me today. I am hearing that you're doing everything that you can. So maybe tell me some more.
I got me a nosy neighbor.
Mm.
She's butting her head in where it doesn't belong, and she's not taking the time to talk to me like an adult and see what the situation is before she goes blabbing my business to anyone else.
Okay.
So Rudy, my baby, he stole warheads from the convenience store. I have been very clear to my kids that is not okay. That we do not steal. We work for what we have, and we are grateful for what we do have. So, and it was a long day at work, and then I find out he did that. So I may have gotten a little out of hand and lost some control, and I may have hit him a little harder than I planned on.
Okay.
So I wasn't trying to kill him. I never would want to, and I don't want to hurt him.
Okay.
But I also was raised with very firm punishment. So that is the way I punish my children. This time, I may have just lost a little control.
Okay. Now, is it okay if I ask you, is this the first time that you maybe feel like you went a little out of control, or has this happened before?
I think this was probably the worst,
Okay.
but I probably have lost control on a harder day before.
Okay. So, sounds like that you do want to discipline your kids whenever you know that they are behaving how you haven't raised them to be, but maybe are channeling some energy into that might be a little bit excessive in that time. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, how do you feel whenever something like that happens?
I'm just so angry.
You're angry.
There is so much else going on.
Mhm.
I don't have time for those kids to be misbehaving. So when they do, it means I have to put more energy back into everything. I have to deal with the issue then and now so they don't think that this is okay.
Mhm.
I don't want my kids thinking this is okay, but I also don't have time for this to be repeated and repeated. So I want that lesson to go through then and there so that they quit that behavior.
Yeah. Well, I hear from that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear that you sound worn down by all the responsibilities, but you're doing the best you can as a mother, and you don't want to hurt your children. I totally can get that feeling from talking with you. Now, in regards of anger, is there maybe any like counseling that I might could connect you with? Is that a problem that you feel we should touch more into, or maybe refer you to someone who can work with you through that so that you don't cross the line the next time you have to discipline?
It would be nice to talk to someone other than the kids
Okay.
or my employees or employers, and it would be nice to have someone focus on me for once.
Okay. Yeah. So that's definitely another area that we can look into, is seeing how we can get you into a place where maybe you don't feel anger, or not as much anger, and are able to efficiently use that energy, and not on accident maybe crossing the line, because it happens. That's human. I want you to know that everyone gets angry, and you're not alone, and people might not be going through the same things as you, but we all feel those feelings, and we just have to learn how to deal with them and internalize them and use them appropriately. Is there any other areas that we can talk about? Anything that you feel is important to touch on right
It's
now?
just so much.
So,
I can barely afford to feed my kids. I feed them like ramen and basic because I can't really afford it. I'm afraid of losing hours because I'm afraid of losing my house. I'm afraid of losing everything, and I can't climb on an employee ladder because I dropped out of school at the 10th grade. I needed to work.
Mm-hmm. So you say that you sometimes can barely afford to pay for food. Do you have any financial services through food, like maybe food stamps?
I have nothing
Nothing.
but what I work for.
Okay, so would food stamps be something you might be interested in maybe helping you and lessen that stress of having to pay for food? And it's a service utilized mainly to you can take it and use. There's certain items that will be qualified for food stamps. So that could be something potentially to help ease that stress.
I'd be willing.
Okay, all right. And now let's touch back a little bit on your kids in school. How are they doing in school?
As far as I know, they're doing fine.
Okay.
Little Sarah needs some glasses,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, I haven't heard too much
Okay.
from the schools.
Okay. So for the glasses, is there something, is she able to see?
I guess from what they tell me, she can't see very well,
Okay.
and that she needs glasses, but they're $300 a pair. I don't make that much money in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
let alone that would be taking food out of my kids' mouths for weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably sounds like a lot of money, especially for just one item. I am more than willing to look into some resources for glasses or prescriptions. Has your daughter gone to the eye doctor before?
I can't afford to take them to any type of doctor,
Okay.
nor can I take myself, which I probably should be going sooner because I'm having some issues in areas I don't usually discuss.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing that could I could see as a potential use for you is Medicaid. I can gather some of those resources and see how we can help you in that area and get your daughter what she needs, but without being a burden to you, because I know that can be a lot of money. And so we definitely can see about that. Now you said that you have some things in your life that you don't really talk about.
Well, I've been having some issues in my lower female region. There has been some additional discharge that is not normal.
Mm.
I was hoping and praying that it would just go away, but I'm starting to get concerned. But there's no way I can afford to go to a doctor. There's no way I can afford any of these fancy prescriptions or
Mm.
I'm not taking that money out of my kids' mouths. I'm not, for me, I'm not as important as my kids are.
Okay.
But I am starting to become concerned that there might be an STD.
Okay. Well, I do want to thank you for sharing that. I know that that is a very personal subject. Me as a woman myself, I know what that kind of topic and kind of the feelings you can feel, or you don't, like I have gone through those things as well. And so I want to let you know that that is another area that going through the Medicaid process, we could help you in that area and maybe get you some financial resources so that you can take care of your body, because it is very important to do so. I hear you when you say that your kids are more important than yourself. That is a very common motherly thought. However, if you aren't taking care of yourself, you can't always take care of the best for your kids as well. You want to be a good, strong support for them. And if you're not feeling well, I'm sure it might be hard to be the best and do the best and feel the best, Now, definitely not saying that you won't do good, because you are doing everything you can, but we have to help ourselves to be able to help others as well. So,
right.
Does that make sense of why maybe we should think about that a little bit more? Health is something that we could prioritize in our lives, and if that is an area that we needed to take a look at, I'm willing to help get resources so that we can get that taken care of. I know that our bodies are definitely something that we need to pay attention to, and so maybe that would be something we could look into and get you healthy faster, because I'm sure you don't feel that great. So
Not really, but this is the first time I've had people offer me resources or even talk to me about the fact that food stamps is an option or Medicare, Medicaid is an option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's offered me any of this before. I kind of just have been floating along doing what I need to do, and no one has said anything.
Yeah.
And I had Danny when I was 18. I had already been working for a few years, and so I haven't had much help. I'm kind of just doing this how I know.
Yeah. Well, I want to let you know that I think you are doing great. You are a strong mother. You have been dealing with so many things that can get a lot of people down. And just so you know, because you are coming here today, that is a big step, to ask for help. You say that you don't get help from a lot of people, and this is the start of a very good process. I see a lot of progress in your future. So it sounds like you're willing to work with me a little bit. Is that correct?
I don't want to lose my kids.
Yeah.
I will do anything I can
Yeah.
not to lose those kids. They are my pride and joy, and I am not willing to lose them. So if that means coming to you, getting resources, going to someone else, if that's what it takes, I'll do it.
Okay, that sounds great. That's all I need to know from you. I am here to help you in any way, and so kind of looking back on some things that we've talked about, I hear that you need help financially with maybe paying for food, so looking into food stamps, your daughter needing glasses, so we can look into Medicaid, you prioritizing your health as well and getting you into the doctor and making sure that we're healthy and seeing if there's anything that we might need to look forward to. Since I'm not educated in that area. That would not be my expertise, but we can definitely refer you to a doctor, and maybe getting you into a position where you're able to be with your kids more and not be so busy in life and help ease you. So maybe if maybe food stamps we get, that you can take off another shift. It's one less shift you have to take to worry about money or be stressed out. Do these sound like goals that you would be interested in?
Yes, I'd really appreciate the help.
Okay. Is there anything that I might not have touched on that you really feel is important to you and that something that is a goal that we could set and work for?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming in and seeing me once again. You are very brave for doing so. I know it takes a lot to be vulnerable and open up, but I look forward to working with you and accomplishing these goals. And always remember that any other sessions that we have after this, bring anything that you think you want to talk about. I'm here for you. You are not alone in this, and we will get you where you need to be.
Okay, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.